everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to share my thoughts on Tales of Symphonia, a JRPG classic, which I played the remastered version on the PS4. This is not going to be a review saying, oh, the remastered version sucks, FPS and all that nonsense, because there's already plenty of videos out there. If you want that, go find it yourself. This is a video of someone who played Tales of Symphonia back in 2005 or 2006 on the GameCube and wanted to replay it after many years. So thank you, Bandai Namco, for remastering it. I know it's not necessarily a remaster. It's more or less a port. But I was glad to replay it on a modern console. And my hope is, after buying this, that you'll remaster Tales of Abyss and Xillia and even the 2D Tales of games at some point. Please and thank. So yeah, I played the remastered version. I understand its problems, but I was just looking to play an old game that I hadn't played in a long time. So I also showed this off in a haul video, but I'll show it off again. I got the Chosen Edition, which the game retails for $40, so as opposed to the normal $60 price range. I got the Chosen Limited Edition for $50. It came with this cool steelbook with Corinne, who is Sheena's summon spirit. There's the logo. And then also came with some stickers and whatnot. We have all the characters in chibi form. All the party members anyway. Very nice. We also have them in pixel art. And then we have, these are shots from the anime openings. One of Colette. One of Lloyd. And then one on the Reards. So that was nice. I'm happy with my purchase. And I had a lot of fun playing it. So yeah, not going to be spoilers until I get to a certain point. I'll let you know when the spoiler warning presents itself. But otherwise, I'll just sort of summarize a bit of the synopsis and the combat and stuff like that. And then I'll show you screenshots and some gameplay. So yeah, the game initially released on the GameCube back in 2003. So, not 10, what am I saying? It feels like 10 years ago, but it's really 20 years ago. My God, am I getting old? And then released in North America in 2004. And again, I said I played it around 2005 or 2006 on the GameCube. And this is not one of the first voice-acted games, but it's one of the first really well-done voice-acted games, in my opinion, consisting of voices such as Scott Menville as Lloyd, the main character. And Scott Menville, if you don't know, voices Robin in the many Teen Titans series animated cartoon. We have Heather Hogan as Colette, Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Genus, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy, she's probably most famous for Tails in the Sonic series, but has also been an anime voice Nell in Bleach. Kari Wahlgren as Rain, who she's also been in a lot of anime series. Fu from Samurai Champloo, Anemone and Eureka 7, among other things. Jennifer Hale as Sheena. Jennifer Hale, another legend who's still working today in a lot of video games. Shiloh Strong as Zelos. Tara Strong as Presea. I don't know if there's any relation. I don't think so. But Tara Strong, she's also been in a lot of the DC animated things as Raven. Riku in Final Fantasy X and X-2. The legend Crispin Freeman as Regal. And dude, Crispin Freeman, one of my favorite voice actors. Most famous as Holland in Eureka 7 and Alucard in Hellsing. Cam Clark as Kratos, not Kratos, despite being spelled that way, it's Kratos. Cam Clark, who does Liquid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid series, as well as a lot of other stuff. James Arnold Taylor as Yggdrasil, and James Arnold Taylor, most famous as Titus from Final Fantasy X, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Star Wars animated show. Who else? Wally Wingert, who's most famous as Renji in Bleach, as Remiel. And lots of other stuff. So, for a game that got English dub in 2004, it's a pretty damn good dub. They did a good job of what they were able to do. There are some budget constraints where there's lines that are voice acted, but then the next scene there's no voice acting, so I don't know what the deal is with that. I think in the Japanese dub, it's all voice acted, and even with the skits, it's all voice acted, where English dub, there's no voice acting there, but, you know, it's a game of its time. And it starts off with our lovable hero, Lloyd, who's falling asleep in class and getting berated by the teacher, Rain, who's not only the teacher, but also Genus's older sister. And we learn about Colette, who is known as the Chosen of Mana. Although, I always said Mana, but in this game, it's Mana. I don't know, man. I've always said Mana, but that's how the dub says it. Similar to how they say Kratos, not Kratos. I don't know. Again, a game of its time. So Colette's going to go on this journey and unleash all the seals of Mana and regenerate the world of Sylvarant, which is her quest. And in doing so, she slowly becomes an angel. And there's a lot of parallels playing this game. A lot of parallels to my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy X, and Colette and Yuna being in a lot of similar situations, which I love Final Fantasy X, so anytime there's a comparison, I'm always going to bring it up. And, you know, it starts off with these four main characters going to the first temple, and then we meet Kratos, the mercenary, who helps our heroes and go on the quest of all the seals. And this being a GameCube game, and a Tales game, of course, being notoriously long, there's 2 discs, right? So you get to what you think is the final seal about 20 hours in, and here's your spoiler warning for this one segment, so I guess skip ahead 30 seconds or so. But you get to the final area, and the plot twist! We learn that there's another world, and the parallel to Sylvarant is Tethe'alla, the advanced, flourishing world, where we meet the other cast of characters, which we did meet Sheena, who came from Tethe'alla to assassinate Colette early on, but then joins the party. And then we meet the other characters like Zelos, who is the Chosen in Tethe'alla, Presea, and then Regal. And just lots of great stuff. I believe this is the first 3D Tales of game. So again, I keep saying it's a game of its time, and it's kind of dated. The combat is definitely more refined in games such as Tales of Arise or even Tales of Berseria, which this is my favorite Tales of game. But it's still good enough, and just the nostalgia factor of having the excellent music, the overworld, all the skits, the amount of side content you can do, man. Because like I said, there's 2 worlds. So you have side quests in one world and side quests in the other world. And it's almost like there's a time limit for some of them because there's certain areas you can't go back to. So you always want to try and go back to the towns and see if there's side quests available. Because I did try and do them as I was playing the game, but then I waited to the end to do other side quests, and it's like, oh, can't do that one, can't go back there. So there's so much to do. I clocked in around 55 hours, which I seem to remember the game being longer, but again, I sort of saved a lot of the side quests toward the end, and then it's like, I can't really do them because I can't go back to that area. And also, there's a bonus dungeon, which is very difficult, where they have randomly generated floors and insanely difficult boss fights. I almost feel like you have to do that in New Game Plus, because with New Game Plus, you can carry over your levels and stats and text and whatnot. So you can be level 100. I was like around level 75. Didn't really feel like grinding because I kind of want to move on to other games. So yeah, it's probably there for New Game Plus. And with so many characters and all the skits and everything, there's all these cutscenes and ways you can answer the NPCs and the party members that affects the outcome. And at a certain point towards the end, there's like 3 different roads you can follow for the ending. So I thought that was really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed the game, and definitely recommend, if you want to play it, pick up the remastered version, which you can get for $40. Bandai Namco is always good about doing sales, so soon enough it'll probably be $20. If you're one of those people that's like, my FPS, go get it on Steam, emulate it. Get the PS3 version, Tales of Symphonia Chronicles, which also has the sequel, Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World, which was a Wii game. So I'm going to cut and show you some of the gameplay. So sit tight, and I will be right back. Okay, here we are. And this is also your spoiler warning, because I'm going to be showing the trophies and screenshots and stuff like that. So you've been warned. Spoiler warning. Let's start with some of the trophies, which I got 42%. If you know me, I like to get the platinum in all the games I play. However, with Tales of Symphonia, it requires at least 3 playthroughs. And at this time, I'm not ready to do that. Because, you know, I could probably speedrun it, but there's just other games I want to play. So, I did what I could. And with the titles, there's certain outfits with the characters that you can only get 3 at a time. That's why you need multiple playthroughs. So I did at least get 10 titles for every character except Kratos and Presea. Kratos only has this one for all titles because he's a party member who comes and goes, and there's a decision you can make late in the game that swaps him out for Zelos. I went for Zelos just because I feel like that's more the canon ending. But there's, I think, 3 different endings you can get in the game. So I got 10 titles for every character except for Persea, because I missed her side quest because of certain areas I couldn't go back to. So sorry, Persea. These 3 are story-based. If you beat the Silverant portion, you get that. Beat Tethayala, you get that. You beat the game, you get that. These are the optional bosses. The Sword Dancers, Abyssion, Celis, Gar, Farah, and Merity. They're all pretty challenging, especially Celis, because you have to do it with one party member. Right? Abyssion has the most HP. But enough practice, you'll get it. This is the final optional boss fight, which I tried but couldn't even get far because it's a randomly generated dungeon. And I think they want you to carry over your techs and levels to New Game Plus so you're more powerful. So if I ever decide to do New Game Plus, then I'll beat these guys. But on a normal playthrough, you gotta do a lot of level grinding, and I was only around level 75, so. These will happen naturally. Cooking, Mystic Art, Unison Attack, customize a weapon. Beat the game on hard difficulty. You can change the difficulty at any time. And I saw this was a trophy, so I said, you know, let's beat the boss on hard difficulty. And after beating the game with New Game Plus, you unlock Mania difficulty. 100 battles, 1,000 battles, maximum hit of 10, maximum hit of 100. This one could be a little tricky, but as long as you have Rain and Genus to do a unison attack, they have one that does, I think, 40 hits. So if you get a combo of like 30 hits and do unison attacks, you should be good. That's what worked for me anyway. $1 million, 1 million casino chips. This one you have to pray for the RNG gods, but there is a way, because it's all luck based. You can theoretically buy all the chips, but it would literally cost billions of gold, and I don't think anyone wants to grind for that long. So you can just keep reloading your save and use Regal as your avatar because he's the president in Altamira. And if you equip him with enough luck enhancing equipment and stat boosts, you'll eventually get it. But you got to do it for like an hour, keep reloading your save and praying to the RNG gods. But I got it. And then this one I wanted to do legitimately 100 hours. You could leave your screen on for 100 hours, but that would waste electricity. So when I eventually do play it in New Game Plus, I'll get the trophy then. And again, to fight all the monsters and collections, you got to play through the game multiple times. Maybe for just one time I'd do it, but for 3 times, not right now. I got other games to play. So I'll show you some of the combat and some of the areas, and then I'll show you the screenshots. Oh god, the ugly Bandai Namco logo. Why would they change the classic Bandai Namco logo? I have no idea. I'll never know. So, just the music is so nostalgic. This was beating the game. I got a little star, so it took me 56 hours and 26 minutes. We'll load this one up. And everyone's around level 75. You got the classic world map. The chibi art. I'll show you some of the portraits of the characters and explain more of their abilities. So we have Lloyd, who is the swordsman, wields 2 blades. Genus is the black mage of the party. Rain is the white mage of the party, who heals, but also casts very powerful light attribute spells. Zelos is the knight character, who wields a sword and shield, but also casts black magic and has a healing spell. I think it's called First Aid. Regal, what an interesting character he is. I'll explain more of him with screenshots. I loved his character. And it's a shame because a lot of his story is hidden in side quests. Really good stuff, though. So, he is wearing handcuffs, and that's all for story purposes. So he attacks with his feet and does a lot of kicking martial arts. What a badass. Colette, she uses chakram, but also uses light attribute magic. Persea wields an axe, and the axe is bigger than her. I swear, it's crazy. And then my girl, Shida, who is a ninja who uses summon spirits. So there's all the characters here. Again, just listen to this music. I wanted to show you specifically this song. Like, this just peak JRPG comfy soundtrack. I love it, man. And another thing I love too, going back to talk to NPCs, they all sort of change what they're saying. And it's just good stuff. Good stuff, man. So let's go here. I'll show you a battle, which I'll beat these guys probably in one hit because this is a weaker area. But I'll show you a little bit. Let's see. And the random encounters, you don't run and see them. You see them on screen, so you can run into them and avoid enemies if you so choose.
This is gonna be a piece of cake.
So let's see. I want to see if I can do a unison attack. Oh, genius. Okay, let's do it. Unison attack. Oh, he's dead. Fuck. Oh, I wanted to do unison attack, but oh well. And yeah, they have their catchphrases. There's a great moment of Genius when he's casting a spell because it takes time. Where if he gets hit in the middle of casting a spell, he goes, "Don't bother me," and the way he says it is so good. So yeah, you can travel with Noish to go a little faster, and then also later on the Riards, which is like the airship. And you got this giant ass world map, right? Right? You think that's it? But a third of the way through the game, you're able to go. This is Silverant. You're able to go to Tethayala. And if we go to this area, right above here, go to Tethayala. And the map changes. It's a whole new world map. Oh, so good. So yeah, I'll show you some screenshots now. Okay, so I am back. And I know this video is probably going to be way too long, but I don't really care. I loved going through Tales of Symphonia. It does have its problems. I sort of forgot to mention this early on, but the dungeons are definitely of its time. They are a bit confusing when you get later on in the game, especially in Tethayala with the sewers, and then the ice puzzle where you move on the ice blocks. Wegalia, which there's like a zero gravity area, and it's also, you know, sort of moving like you would on ice. And I did have to look up a guide, so there's that. I played like the first half of the game with no guide whatsoever, and then I got stuck, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, this is crazy. But, you know, that's what games used to do back then. And, you know, my favorite Tales of game is still Berseria. I love the story of Berseria so much. But I really did like going through Tales of Symphonia again. Such a great cast of characters. The voice actors did such an excellent job. But again, if you want to play the game for the combat and stuff like that, you're better off with Berseria or even Arise. Arise probably is the best combat in the series. But I mean, I loved it. I loved it, man. It's just, again, a game of its time, but something I was very happy to go back and play. Lots of nostalgia, just hearing the songs. And while it does have its JRPG cliches of you go here, get the summon spirits, and then save the world, it does have so many plot twists, man. And I guess going through it again, you could sort of see the things of Kratos, which I mentioned about him healing Lloyd, you know, prioritizing healing Lloyd as opposed to other characters because it is his son. They still sort of come out of nowhere. And it's like, wow, what a plot twist, man. Really good. Really well done. I highly recommend it. Definitely pick it up, whether you want the remastered version or the PS3 Tales of Symphonia Chronicles, or on Steam, or even old school on the GameCube. Each version has its own pros and cons, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more stuff coming soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, and peace out.